morning every weekday and join Akinloye on Cradle Radio. Wake up in the morning every weekday and join Akinloye on Cradle Radio. Morning every weekday and join Akinloye on Cradle Radio.
This is Cradle Radio. This is Cradle Radio.
And this is when I say good morning to you. Good morning to everybody. Good morning to each and every one of you out there. How's your weekend? And I that it's a timing of yours in terms of your resting period in the morning. It's always a blessed day, especially when you just gotta rush into the studios and on a snowy day. But this is when I say, this is Canada.
Wake up in the morning every weekday and join Akinloye on CradleRadio.
And I always start this way and saying, thank God for the gift of life for each and every moment that I'm spending right here. Each and every time that I've been opportune to come in here. Each and every day that I can, sit in front of you and just do what I do. As I went to you. My name is Akinloye, and this is Canada. Well, this is Canada as a flagship from CradleRadio as it affects Canadians and situations happening around Canada. It's not necessarily for only Canadians. You could be friends of Canadians, friends of friends of Canadians, and you could still be a part of the show as well at that same time. Whatever might be happening here might just be something you're experiencing in your part of the world as well. So it's a flagship that deals with, I'll say, social, cultural, political, economic, and relevant happenings within the society, the country, or the community, whatever you want to call it. That's called Canada. I love having the gift of life. I love being here at every set moment. I love being here and just being me and just doing me. And I credit that to my creator. Sometimes you might probably think it's not going to happen today, but it will still happen. I love when surprises come, you tackle it, and you still get into your groove eventually. And that's what it's meant when it's said the show must go on. It's a Monday morning in somewhere in Ontario, Canada. If you're looking at that time zone now, we're on Eastern time, so you might be watching and saying, oh, good morning. Oh, yeah, you might be in another part of the world, or you might be in another part of Canada as well. Different time zones does exist in Canada. I love this. I love this moment in time, man. I really do. And what we have today, I'm not a bearer of bad news, but some things do happen, especially in our society, that I want to touch on each and every moment. And I still want to talk about it, even though some events might trump other events. And that's why we'll bring this to you. Not basically to criticize or even talk down on the people that has been affected, but obviously to raise awareness and to safety. That's what we're looking at this morning. And if you look into that headline, over the weekend, something really nasty, something horrible. I'm sorry to bring this to you on a Monday morning, but, it is what happened. It's all reality. So I really don't have any choice but to draw the awareness of people or people concerned or the sectors involved as to safety. Not like they're not taking safety seriously, but just draw people's attention to it. Because when things like this do happen, it's not just the partakers that are being involved that will be affected. A whole lot of people will be affected. Families, friends, loved ones, people that know somebody, people that will not get over it, that cannot get over it. And let's look at the safety of the environment as well. If you have something coming down from the sky, you never know where it's gonna land, right? You never know where it's gonna land. So we're looking at this morning, and I'll just read it out to you another way, so you could be in the same zone that I'm in. So we'll be on the same page together. It says tragedy at 2,000 feet. Pilot killed in mid-air. Training crash in Ontario. That's a nasty way to go. It's a bad way to go. It's not a really, really enjoyable way to go. It says tragedy at 2,000 feet. Pilot killed in mid-air training crash in Ontario. That's what we're looking at this morning. So to bring it to you in the morning, but like I said, the show must go on. Things happening around Canada, those are things that we tackle or we look at. So if you've never been a part of this show, it's simple. It's not that simple, but we tag it has been simple for you to join in. All you got to do is join our social media handles. And when you do that, you'll be able to comment and even share your own experience or expertise on the show as regards to what's being talked about each and every moment and each and every day. From Monday through Thursday, the hours of 9 to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, that's when it comes around. 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. is a time zone allotted to building up that momentum of yours. All right, so momentum in the way of music. Music, just as a way of soothing anybody's soul or makes you hype or jumpy. Anyways, you want to look at it. Music is music. So we'll build up that musical tempo for you from the hours of 9 to 10 and from the hours of 10 to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. That's when we get to the nitty-gritty of the talk aspect of the show. And when we do that, no holds barred. No holds barred. All right? No holds barred. So, having to do that, the topic today seems more about a lot of mishap, but not mishap as the case may be. It's more about drawing our attention to safety. I flip through the news like I usually do. I flip through it. And when I looked at it this morning, the first thing that came to my mind was what's really happening today. And having gone through it, I wanted something easy, something light to build up the momentum for the week. And then I saw this one and I said, listen, probably somebody might have a thing or two to learn from this eventually if we bring it to the listening of people. We draw awareness to it in one way or the other. I looked at it and I saw a pilot killed in Ontario mid-air collision. And so says the Transport Safety Board of Canada. They call them TSB. And I'm thinking, is this a passenger plane? Is this a cargo plane? I'm just lost in thought and drew my attention to that, and I wanted to know. I wanted to find out what's going on there. I wanted to see for myself what's going on. It's cold out there, people, today. It's been cold for a couple of days. So if you see people getting padded up, if you're new in Canada, you better pad up. Go get yourself something called thermal wear. Yeah, the cold in there is none other. The cold in there is none other. Even after decades of having a similar weather, and I mean decades, people. Not decades. I'm in awe of it every time it happens, each and every year, especially this season. It's not one of my favorite seasons, people, especially you turn in the heat and all that. All right, but let's get into what we're having to deal with today, which is something that would have affected families, it would have affected individuals, it would have affected people with their loved ones, especially when we're going towards the Yuletide season. And people wouldn't even prepare for this. Nobody prepares for death in the family. Nobody prepares for that. Now we'll begin with this one, with a developing heartbreaking story out of Eastern Ontario. A pilot has been killed after two small aircraft collided in mid-air. During what investigators now confirm was a training flight. That's right. I just want to know, really. I'm just curious enough to want to know, especially in the morning hour. Wow. Wow. It's just one of those things that really does happen, and what can you say when it does happen? It's one of those things when it happens, you practically just want to wonder what's going on. What's really going on? Now, I'm just curious about it sometimes to want to know how safe we are with certain things that happens in our society. How safe we are with things happening in and around us. How safe we are with things happening not just in our society, but things happening at the end of the day to protecting lives, life and all, lives, basically. Not just one life, but, lives. Having to have things that you could have to do that could allow you to just protect one another, especially as it concerns safety. I'm curious enough to want to know. Just curious enough to want to know. Oh my God, it's one of those things in the morning hour. Now, if you're just joining us for the very first time, all you could do to be a part of this is join our social media handles. And when you do that, you'll be a part of this show each and every moment, each and every time, each and every day. Stay with me, don't go nowhere. I'll give you a brief of what happened, where it happened, and what's being done by the relevant authorities as regards to this tragedy in the morning. Today is the 17th of November, 2025. Stay with me, don't go nowhere. This is Canada.
Wake up in the morning every weekday and join Akinloye on Cradle Radio.
This is Cradle Radio.
This is Cradle Radio. This is Cradle Radio.
This is Cradle Radio. This is
Now, having to do some digging into what really happened that brought about this topic of ours this morning. And I wanted to just, draw attention of people to what is happening around us as a group of people that might just want to just take security conscious. Now, as the headline says, tragedy at 2,000 feet. That's a tall one. You rarely see anybody survive that distance, right? You rarely see anybody survive that distance. And pilot was killed in mid-air training. This mid-air training crash. Good morning, Tasha. How you doing this morning, wherever you are on the side of the world? And when this happens, the first thing you want to ask is, was there no communication between the controllers, probably a tower, and the flight controller themselves? I just want to know. I want to be curious. The sky looks big. It looks huge. It looks like nobody should collide with one another, especially in the sky because it's huge. But at the end of the day, this is happening not just from yesterday. It's something that's been happening on. Last time it happened, I remember there was like a couple of months back. Only a couple of months back, it did happen as well. What is really wrong with those instructors as well? And not only in instructors, the authorities, what are they doing? Are there like certain things that, or certain courses that instructors should go for to update whatever they think they have? Or are there so many precautionary measures that should be taken into cognizance before things like this do happen? I'm just a curious guy, wanting to know. Well, this crash happened near Martintown in South Glengarry. That's just southeast of Ottawa. Ottawa being the Canadian capital. 2 aircrafts, a Cessna 172 and a Piper Seminole, both operating out of Cornwall Aviation. Both operating from the same aviation school. We were both on separate missions though when they made contact. One of the planes made it back safely. The other ended up in a wooden area. Heavily wooded area. And that pilot didn't survive. Now, this is not a case of having 2 different schools or 2 aviation schools that don't communicate or don't talk via their radio. It's the same school. It's the same aviation company. Same aviation company. Well, the Transport Safety Board has deployed investigators to the site, right? Officials say the pilot who died was a sole occupant of the Cessna. What could have happened? The Piper's Seminole, carrying 2 people, managed an emergency landing back at Cornwall Somerstown Airport. And I'm just giving you a brief of what's happened in the due course of this tragic event. A wreckage from the Cessna is scattered across a dense forest, making recovery extremely difficult. A TSB investigators will remain on the ground for days, gathering flight data, analyzing the wreckage, and interviewing those involved. In my mind, I'm just thinking, what could have gone wrong? What could have gone wrong? Our life is not indispensable. Our lives is not a thing. Our lives are not things that you could probably just think it's a game. It's just not a game. It's something that comes to us and we don't have a control over it as of when it's taken. But although we could be precautionary in our approach, and our things do that could safeguard us from mishap or tragedies. And this is something that has practically eluded man. And that's the best way I could put it. We seem to not forget that it's not going to be a case of I'm just going to wake up. I've not seen somebody who's died, and I mean died, that has come back. Of course, in the holy books we heard about Lazarus, but that was then. After Lazarus, I've not seen. If you know anybody that has experienced or gone through that and come back to life to tell us what the other side looks like, you probably just email me on info@CradleRadio.com, and then we could probably just be in the know of whether we do have control over it or not. Cornwall Aviation. The local flight school has released a short but emotional message. But my thing is not about releasing a public relations statement. I'm just, some people prefer it, some people like it. But I'm not just one of those people that really falls for a guided expression or tale. I don't know whether it's the weather or any other thing, but it seems that CradleRadio is just, breezing in and out. But we'll still find out what's going on with that eventually, probably after the live show. I know the weather is a little hazy as well, but if the weather is bad, I don't have a control over the weather, but we'll try to see or find out what's happening around there as well. Let's see what this one is talking about this morning.
Wake up in the morning every weekday and join Akinloye on CradleRadio.
So in a nutshell, I'm not a fan of when you have well-written tales or messages that expresses one thing or the other as regards, oh yeah, this is what's wrong, you know what, we want to apologize. Apologies don't cut it for some certain things. And without having that investigation done, we might not know what really happened, but having to jump into messages and all that, especially when somebody's life is got. Somebody's life is got. I just want to know. I want to find out. It's just not only being curious, not about being curious alone. I want to find out. This tragedy is shaking student pilots, instructors, the aviation workers across the region, because training flights is supposed to be some of the most controlled, most supervised, most predictable conditions in the air. Yeah, with training, flight sessions, it's meant to be one of the most suitable, one of the safest, if I must say. It's meant to be. One of the best conditions in the air. But many are saying, how could two training aircraft end up in the same airspace at the same time and collide? Well, one of the questions TSB. That's TSB. I'm not a fan of acronym, but TSB in Canada means Transportation Safety Board. We're going to ask them a lot of questions as well. We're going to ask them a lot of questions. Having to want to know how such a tragic thing could have happened. And like I said earlier on, it's not coming from two different flight schools or aviation school or whatever they call it. It's not coming. It's from the same. Those planes, those aircraft are both from the same aviation school. Both of them. And this draws a lot of questions, raises a lot of eyebrows, raises a lot of concerning observations, or even questions as to how it can happen when both planes belong to the same Aviation School. Mean-air collisions during training are rare, extremely rare, but when they occur, investigators look closely at communication between aircraft. I did say that earlier on, right? Communications between aircraft, flight school training procedures, airspace coordination, potential blind spot. Oh yeah, I've never flown a plane before, but I know there will be blind spots in some ways. All depends if you're on the same latitude or longitude, having to thread the same flight pattern. There might be, who knows? Of course, on the road there are blind spots. In the air, and whether either aircraft lost visual contact. These are early signs, though not confirmed, that the Cessna may have lost part of its wing during the collision, leaving the pilot with no chance to recover. It's a gruesome death, losing your wing at 2,000 feet in the air. This is Canada, people. If you want to be a part of this, join our social media handles. We're on the likes of Instagram. We're on the likes of TikTok. We're on the likes of Twitch. We're in Twitch as well, okay? We're on Facebook. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can have a relay of this episodes that we live stream. And we're live streaming on two different portals right now. We're live streaming on Facebook and we're live streaming on YouTube. And we're broadcasting live from the Cradle Studios on Cradle Radio. So 3 solid points in which you could be a part of this show. If you want to go on the road with your handheld devices, you could just tune into Cradle Radio on your phones. Right, Cradle Radio. And whatever you might think people are watching live, you will be hearing the audio version at the radio station on Cradle Radio. So, this is a live show. It's a live presentation. Of course, there will be a repeat broadcast of this later on in the day. But as of this moment, this time belt, that's live. So, one of the questions you ask is, what happened or what led to a breakdown of communication? What led to that? A transport board, a transport safety board. I keep wanting to check on that one every time so that I'll just know that I'm Transportation Safety Board. That's what it's called anyways. Transportation Safety Board, that's acronym is TSB. Will release a full report once their investigation is complete, and any safety recommendations could reshape training flight rules across Canada. But that's not gonna bring that man back. That's not gonna bring that man back. If I'd spend an hour on this today, it might be a little heavy for you on a Monday morning. I don't want to spoil nobody's mood, especially as we just started the week. But things as regards safety. Safety on land is totally different from safety in the air. I mean, none of it in terms of if you have accidents is being prayed for at any point in time. It's not something that we'll wish upon even our greatest enemies, because the chance of survival is slim. But at 2,000 feet, with a broken wing, I don't see that happening as having to survive that one. And we ask ourselves all these questions. We draw attention to all of these happenings around in our society. And whether we like it or not, things do happen that we might not just be in control of. And we're not playing the blaming game with nobody. We're not trying to blame somebody for this. We're not trying to blame somebody for that. Always saying safety does come first. What happened with the school that's in question as at this moment? What happened to the control tower? What happened to the control room of that school? Who was in charge? What are the safety measures in place? if there's a breakdown of communication in flight. Same company, same flight school, two different planes taking off and on the same path at the same time. Until investigation says otherwise, we'll get to know. Until investigation tells us this is what happened, we might just be keeping our fingers crossed. But as of this day, November 17th, it did happen on November 16th anyways. November 17th in Martintown, South Glengarry, about 115 kilometers away from Ottawa. That plane was downed. As a result of a mid-air crash, mid-air collision. Let's put it in the right perspective. Mid-air collision. So it's not. I'm not saying somebody just blasted it out of the air. No, mid-air collision. Two planes from the same flight school. It's just not. I can't even fathom it. I can't understand that. It's something that I can't comprehend. A lot of people might say, what happened to having that proficiency in terms of teaching people how to fly a plane? What happened to the Canadian experience of knowing how to teach people to fly a plane? Lots of questions will be raised, lots of questions, and in the coming days will come in on your lap. But that's not gonna bring that man back. Safety is essential. Safety is important. Safety on the part of the operators. Checks and balances on the part of the safety board as well. All in all, I just pray that the soul of the departed is granted eternal rest. Commiserate with the family and loved one of that individual, that pilot. And then we ask the government the pertinent question. Are we having people and officers that should be there, checking and balancing, so that we don't have such mishap, such tragedy happening 2,000 feet above ground? My name is CradleRadio. Tomorrow, we'll hit you with something that's somewhat different, and something that's possibly gonna be good. I love when good news comes around, but every news is news. Don't forget, join our social media handles on all our platforms. We are practically on all social media platforms. We are CradleRadio in that. CradleRadio, yes, Cradle, CRADLE radio. It's by just doing that, join our social media handles, comment and share some of our videos if it just affects you. You never know, somebody might just learn a thing or two. We got quite a few in there right now. Somebody might just learn a thing or two by just watching those videos. Until tomorrow morning, when I come your way, from the hours of 10 to 11 Eastern Time, 10 to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, stay safe. Let's do a due diligence into protecting lives and property, and even the airspace as well, as this might not just affect one person, but it might be a chain reaction. Once again, I say stay safe and good morning. See you tomorrow.
Wake up in the morning every weekday and join CradleRadio on Cradle Radio.
This is CradleRadio.
This is CradleRadio. Radio.
This is Cradle Radio.